Hi, my name is Rod Khleif, and I'm the host of the Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing podcast. And every week I interview multifamily rock stars, and we talk about how they've built incredible wealth for themselves and their families through multifamily properties. So hit the like and subscribe buttons to get notified every Monday when a new episode comes out. Let's get to it. Welcome back to Multifamily Rockstars. So this is where we interview people that are crushing it in this business, and we show you guys the inside scoop into how multifamily investors are creating massive success in their businesses and, of course, in their lives as well with their families. And as always, I've got my co-host, Mark Nagy from my Massive Action team, the director of our Massive Action team for the Warrior Group. Mark, what's going on, brother?
Hey, Rod, not too much. Just super excited finally for the boot camp in December. It's been almost 2 years since we've been actually able to shake some hands with people in person and network that way. So I'm pumped that it's going to be a good end of the year kickoff here into 2022.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it as well. You know, I've decided I'm only going to be doing one of those live events a year moving forward because they are pretty consuming and pretty exhausting because it's pretty much me on stage for 3 days. So, you know, I'll continue to do the virtual events every quarter or so, but I'm only going to do one live event. So if you guys are listening and you haven't registered, for God's sakes, what are you thinking? Go to rodinorlando.com or text Rod in Orlando to as one word to 72345. And if you DM me, I'll give you a code so you can come for, you know, a great deal. So DM me on any social channel. I'll take care of you. I'll hook you up. Anyway, we've got an awesome guest, one of our warriors, Jonathan Russell, on the call today. And John's got 80 plus doors, and excited to have you on the show, brother. Welcome.
Thank you, Rod. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So why don't you take a minute and talk a little bit about how you started in the business. And I think you've got an interesting story about being downsized and all of that. Why don't you tell us about all that and how you got going in this business?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm out of Jonesboro, Arkansas here, and kind of always had the entrepreneurial spirit. Started off with having a trucking company after school. And when I say trucking company, it was one truck as me as the driver, mechanic, operator, everything. And so I enjoyed the business side of that, but just kind of got really burned out on the travel and just all the, at that time, all the stress that came along with that. And so that led me into a job with a company out of Chicago, driving a truck for them. They worked out really well for me because they just had a place here in Jonesboro. So I would just make trips back and forth to Chicago a couple of times a week. And during that time, really got to dig in to audiobooks, and your podcast in particular definitely helped me kind of get the real estate itch going. So then I bought my first house as a HUD foreclosure, and still at that time really wasn't planning on doing it as an investment. It just was the only thing we could afford. So we did that and lived in a couple of years, sold it. And then when we sold that and had that profit, that's when kind of light bulb went off that, okay, that was relatively easy. And so we did the same thing again. And that's what kind of got the momentum rolling on that. And 2016, after doing a couple of those, started buying the rentals. And then at that time, I was still driving for that company. And then 2017 they called me out of the blue and said that we're downsizing and, fired me. And I was like, okay, when's this effective? And they was like, today. Wow. And I was like, okay. Oh. Well, so that was kind of a jumping off point for me. Thankfully, I already had 12 doors by that time, all single family. And that kind of was the kick in the butt I needed to go full time, just kind of being more aggressive at that point. And I would love to say I had the guts to just do it myself, but I had to get fired to kind of be shoved out the window to get me going. But
it's called leverage.
Right. So it's just been kind of off the races since. That's kind of the quick story of it.
Love it. So when did we meet? How did you get into my ecosystem?
Through the podcast. Like I said, when I was driving that truck, I'd never just constantly listening to you, Bigger Pockets, and tons of audiobooks. Just kind of soaking up all the information I could get. And then just, like I said, always listen to podcasts. And then this current year, 2021, I decided to take the leap to go ahead and join the Warrior program to go ahead and try to take action even further.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Now, I know that you've done pretty much everything so far on your own or in JVs. Are you thinking that you want to go larger, maybe do syndications as well at some point, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Just the benefit of scale. It's still relatively new to me. Just definitely out of my comfort zone. But that's where we always say that's where you got to go.
Right.
So it definitely makes more sense to go to bigger deals. That's definitely my goal going forward, to try to tackle some bigger deals. And again, talking about the Warrior program, that's what surround yourself with those type of people, because you kind of get, doing 80 something doors, kind of careful not to get a big head or feel too good about yourself. But then you talk to someone who did that over a weekend. So kind of puts you, should kind of put you back in place a tad bit. But, some people would get discouraged by that, but it motivates me just to keep pushing forward. Nice.
So let me ask you this. What have you learned this year about the business that will help you moving forward? What are some things you've learned?
Just the power of leverage, which even with the single family, I always knew leverage as far as bank leverage, like, being able to use the bank's money, but to be able to bring in other investors in addition to the bank's money, it's kind of that on steroids. So it kind of helps you. It just really, it's the same concept, but I was kind of missing that piece of, you can leverage other things, not just the bank's money.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So, John, I know you mentioned you had 12 doors in the single family space before you became unemployed in 2017. A lot of people would look at that and say, hey, you were stacking up single families, 12 doors. That's awesome. What made you initially decide to, I guess, jump out and get a mentor rather than just continuing to kind of stack things and doing it on your own? I know a lot of people start that way.
Yeah, just the benefit of speed. I was wanting to get there quicker because I had a good system in place as far as buying the single family houses, and I still add a few as I can. But just when I looked at it, I could just keep doing what I was doing and probably add easily 8 to 10 houses a year and be fine. I'll be happy with that. But I wanted and still want a lot more than that. So just want to surround myself with people and coaches that, have done, like Rod says, find someone who does something easy that you think is hard. So that's what I was going after. And
nice.
Still am.
Nice. So I know you're married. Do you have kids? I don't recall. Forgive me.
Yeah, we do. We have 2 sons. Yep.
Okay. Nice. Okay. And so tell me, everybody thinks it's easy, that it's all roses and there's never any challenges. Tell me about a setback or a failure that you had that, and maybe something that positions you for future success. Maybe a deal that you got your nose bloodied, but you learn from it. If anything like that comes to mind. Yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. There was actually a single family house, but the lesson learned and the concept applies to anything. There's a house that we bought to remodel, and it had termite damage, which I knew it did up front, but I kind of didn't dig deep enough. And when you start digging in, how it goes, start peeling back the onion, and it was bad, really bad. So kind of come out of pocket a lot of money that I wasn't planning on. But then, so we just sucked it up and got it done. And so let's learn, just don't give up, because once we got it done, I was able to go refinance it and still had plenty of equity to pull back the money I put into it. And so the way I looked at it was, at the end of the day, it was still fine. It wasn't a home run like I thought it was going to be, but it was still another door and just a solid deal. But if I would have gave up halfway through it, I would have lost crazy amounts of money. So just, there's going to be bumps. If you just ride it out and keep your eyes open, most of the time you'll be okay on the other side.
I got one follow up on that, Mark. So
yeah.
So can I ask, what was the magnitude of that termite damage? Because I've had 2 of them, one pretty significant, but what I found was it's just wood, and you just gotta take the wood out, put new wood in, which is not like the end of the world. You're not Now, how bad was yours?
Yeah, it was pretty much like I said. If I could do it over again, I just would have tore down the house and built.
Oh no, it was that bad.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
I had like maybe 1.5 walls in a house. Okay,
No,
so it was
no,
bad. Okay, so
yeah,
it
it
was
was
a lot.
all the joists, all the subfloor.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
All right. Fair enough.
One of the three T's people don't want to deal with: tenants, termites, and toilets, right? So you had
right.
but you had a positive mindset, which brought you through it, is what I'm gathering from that story. And I want to kind of stay on the painful moments for a second, if we could. I know you talked about, getting fired, like literally that day in 2017. What was your mindset when you became unemployed there in that moment? And what did you do to mentally get through that to where you're at today?
I think it's just all about finding a reason, just trusting the bigger picture, just because, like we always say, it seems kind of cliche, but it's just true. Like, just mindset's everything. Because one thing I didn't mention, I went through a divorce early in 2017, and then in that fall, I met my current wife, Meredith, and we was dating. Everything was going great. Then I lost my job on December 7th, I believe, and December 17th. Meredith had a car wreck and was paralyzed. And so that was, which, wow. She went through rehab and, a year's worth of it, and she's relatively okay now. But so just so that finding a reason, like I just justified that everything that happened was so I could be with her and take care of her. That way I wouldn't have a job to, in real estate, the flexibility allowed me to still grow during that whole time and focus on real estate. But I just, finding a reason in the madness.
The meaning, finding
the meaning.
Finding the meaning.
Right.
Guys, life is about meaning. And frankly, and wow, I didn't know you went through that, buddy. I really appreciate you sharing that. That's pretty amazing. I mean, lose your job, wife gets paralyzed, holy cow, or new lady gets paralyzed, divorce, all of that in 1 year, holy cow. And some people will take that and let it destroy them. And it depends on the meaning they place on it. I've seen lots of examples in some of the other self-actualization stuff I've done where two people can have the same horrific experience and one comes out stronger, the other one comes out defeated. And so, like I'll give you a great example. When I lost $50 million, my meaning is I would have never met Tiffy and I'd give it all up again for her. So you can place a positive meaning on something. Well, good for you, man. I really appreciate you sharing that. Well, so let me ask you this. Why do you think some people give up or why do you think they fail? What do you think is a common reason that people failing or giving up in any business?
Yeah, I think just getting overwhelmed, which it's easy to do. It's really easy to do. I still, struggle with that daily. Just, things can kind of pile up on you, and just taking a deep breath and just realizing that nothing's really that bad at the end of the day. Like, it's all, it'll all shake out. And I think just most people give up just because they, get overwhelmed. And part of that is not surrounding themselves with a good support system. But I think just being overwhelmed is the main thing.
Wow. So tell us about some of these deals you've done over the past year here as a warrior, and what was your superpower in those deals, right? What was your role? What did you bring to the team? What do you think your superpower is? And then a secondary is other people.
Hold on the JV ones, obviously, because you did some yourself too, but on the JV ones, right?
Yeah. And on top of that, how do you think other people that don't know yet, how do you think they can help find their own superpower that might be listening right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first part is just definitely networking, because if people don't know what you're doing, then how are they supposed to help or you help them? It's just you have to tell people what you're doing. And then 7 of the doors I did this year are a JV for a partner I have in Missouri. And the structure there is it's in his backyard there, and he found them and brought them to me. And he takes care of as far as boots on the ground there. And I was with my the doors I have and balance sheet and such. I think I was able to secure the financing, and as far as the knowledge and security behind them, and he's a little bit newer than me. So it's kind of a good combination with him being a boots on the ground, allowed me to still grow without putting so much on my plate. And it's just a good combination.
Perfect. So I'll ask you a question I ask on the show regularly. If you could go back and tell your younger self something about this business, is there anything you'd do differently? Certainly you don't want to give up the lessons and even the setbacks and the failures. You grow from those. But is there anything, that you might do differently with what you know now?
I think just benefit of scale, just getting the multifamily sooner, because like I said, I spent 2 or 3 years there just on single family. And the single families, like, I think they're okay. They serve a purpose for whatever your goals are. But if you're trying to scale and grow, it's almost impossible to manage too many single families. You just get too spread out very quickly. And
it took me a few thousand to get that memo. So you're way ahead of me, bud.
Right. So just a multifamily, like I said, just the benefit of scale with that is I should have picked up on sooner.
Let me ask you this. Oh, go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to follow up on that. When was your realization on that of like, hey, I want to jump from single to multifamily? Was it a certain amount of doors? Was it a cash flow number to where you said I needed more? Was it the tenants were becoming too overwhelming? What was that kind of straw that broke the camel's back that said, hey, I need to jump to go bigger here?
Yeah, I think just the management itself. Because when I got up to 30, I was still self-managing everything. And then that's when I kind of jumped into multifamily. And then we went from 30, I think it was, to 50 within just like a very short period of time. And that was just kind of lesson there is I picked a property manager too quick, and that first one didn't work out too well. So I kind of just dumped everything over because I was kind of getting overwhelmed. But kind of sorted through that storm and then found a better one. Everything's been rolling since. But really, to answer your question, as far as it was just the number of doors, as far as having that structure in place, the management team and all that to support all that.
It's a lot of detail associated with that. Let me ask you this. How did you overcome fear associated with this business? Tell me how you push through fear.
Just take action. Like I try not to overthink stuff. Like I'm not saying you should go in to stuff blindly, but like definitely do your due diligence. And like I said, if anything, I'm guilty of like the termite house moving too quickly and like just jumping into stuff. But I think overall that's benefited me to keep, because the fear is always there, but just to, push through it with action is the way I do it.
Nice. Well, I know that your wife is incredibly supportive because I saw that on social, and I wanted to ask a question about that. What are some hurdles that you think, couples looking to do this should keep an eye out for? Is anything, maybe there's nothing that comes to mind, but any advice you could give for somebody that's listening or watching that's married that, might help as it relates to the relationship?
Yeah, I think just making sure the communication, just make sure you're on the same page and know what you're trying to do. Because I think that's because we live a relatively modest life and we have a nice house and nice cars and we do travel some, but it's, we don't live as luxurious as we could. But we, make sure your spouse understands and you're on the same page, like you're both willing to kind of sacrifice a tad bit now because it's becoming. And I think that there's a disconnect there that can cause tension and problems if you don't know what each other's doing as far as that goes.
Yeah, and aligned. And one of the things I talk to the warriors about a lot is to make sure that they're aligned with their significant other, do the goal setting workshop at my live event together. That's one of the first things we do. By the way, if you come to Orlando, just know that's one of the first things we do, because how the heck are you going to get anything if you don't know what it is? But if you can bring your significant other to do that at the same time, and then you see how aligned you are with what you want, that can just be so incredibly powerful. By the way, guys, if you're interested in the Warrior Program, text the word crush to 72345. Again, the word crush So we help you freaking crush it in this business to 72345. And that's how you apply to join. And we don't take everybody, just so you know, but we check you out, you check us out. And if it's a fit, it's a beautiful thing. Has it been good for you, Jonathan, the Warrior program?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the knowledge is there, no doubt. But to me, just the networking and surround yourself with, like I said, just the people who's doing huge deals. It's just very inspiring just to know that, you don't have to recreate the wheel. It's right there. You just have to follow everyone's footsteps. The
wheel is there. You just got to work it. No, that's great. Thank you. Again, that's crush to 72345, guys. Well, how have you utilized your mindset and psychology to push through when things are happening? I know you take action. You said that, but are there any things you do to stay motivated? Any quotes that you like? Anything around mindset psychology that you would be willing to share that has helped you, achieve the level of success that you've already achieved?
I think just in general, just personal responsibility, just knowing that everything's up to you, like good or bad, it's on you. Like it's nobody else's fault. I think you can get into the victim mentality of blaming tenants or blaming property managers. But like I talked about, the property manager, that was my fault for not screening properly and not hiring a good one. So like as long as you maintain that everything's up to you, I think you can avoid falling into that victim trap.
Love it. Yeah. The response, 100% responsibility is probably one of the most important components of success, because you have no one to, but you take responsibility for the good and the bad. And when you own it, it's very, very freeing. It's counterintuitive. I love it. Well, listen, I think I'm really appreciate you coming on the show today, buddy. We love these episodes. We love to bring warriors on and talk about what they're struggling with, what they've been successful with. Let me ask you one last question. What are you most proud of in business or in life? I'll let you answer that any way you like. What are you most proud of?
I think by far my family, just my wife and kids are what we do everything for, with just the legacy we're building and that transition to business. That's absolutely the why of why we're doing this, just to build that foundation of, we're going to have a great life, but our sons are really going to have a great life if they follow through with it. So it's all
nice.
Good.
How old are they?
They are 2 and 9.
Oh, they're brand new. Okay. So it'll be awesome if they can be chips off the old block and you can get them acclimated into the business at some point. I'm sure you're doing that. Like I'm trying to do that as well. Well, listen, brother, it's great to see you and I appreciate you. And, hopefully we'll either see you at the Orlando event or we've got a Warrior Only event coming up the end of March. We just locked that up here in Sarasota. The last one was fantastic. So we're having another one just for Warriors to get together and network. And we do deep dives on deal analysis and so on and so forth there. So hopefully I'll see you at one of those, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right. Take care, buddy. All right. See ya.
Rod, I know a lot of our listeners are wanting to take their multifamily investing business to the next level. Now, I know you've been hard at work helping our Warrior students do just that using our ACT methodology, which is awareness, close, and transform. Can you explain to the listeners how they can get our help?
You bet. Guys, we've been going nonstop for 3 years, building an amazing community of like-minded people. And our coaching students, which we call our Warriors, have had extraordinary results. They've purchased thousands and thousands of units. And last year, we did over 1,000 units with our students. And we're looking to grow this group and take it to the next level. We're looking for people who want to follow a proven framework that's really step by step and then leverage our systems and network to raise equity, to find and close deals, and to build partnerships nationwide. Now, our Warrior community is finding success in any market cycle. So if you're interested in finding out more about how you can become more of our incredible network and take advantage of the incredible opportunities that are coming very soon, apply to work with us at mentorwithrod.com or text CRUSH to 72345 and we'll set up a call so you can check us out and we can check you out. That's mentorwithrod.com or text CRUSH to 72345.